Good morning. It is Friday, October the 18th. Good to have you with us. I'm Todd Duplantis. We're live on Up to the Minute at the HCCTV studios this morning. It is hashtag Finally Friday, and one of the biggest fans of Fridays, Benji Escobar, my co-host this morning, but he's not in the studio with me. You're in the other studio this morning.
Yeah, the other studio, which we're still figuring out the names to, apparently.
Yeah, we got a new name. What was the names that was proposed yesterday? I think there were a couple of them.
Can I say that?
It depends on which one you were going to talk about. But yeah, anyway, Studio A and B is what we refer to them right now. And it'll probably stay that way. Well, big weekend coming up. But first, before we get to the weekend, we got another work day. We've got some great information to keep your day moving along at HCC. We want to thank you for joining us. We're live every Monday through Friday, just about every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m., Benji, but they can also catch us in social media anytime and on HCCTV.
Yes, like you said, we're live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page, not HCC, but Houston Community College District. We're also on YouTube, X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV, where you can catch rebroadcast of this show at noon, 5 and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
I think somebody needs to get an iron for those for that background behind you. Take it over your left shoulder. Yeah, over your left shoulder. It's a little needs to be steamed or something. Yeah. So work on that, will you, while we're gone?
I'll do that.
Yeah, get to work on that. Benji's going to be interviewing this next guest, and we're going to be talking about upcoming drama productions. Debra Schultz is the drama program coordinator for Media, Performing, and Visual Arts Center of Excellence. Debra, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're looking forward to hearing about what you guys have coming up. So stick around. Once Benji gets finished with his background, when he gets that fixed, he'll be with you in about 10 minutes or so. Okay, first, we're kicking things off. We've got a vice chancellor joining us. In fact, Dr. Rima Adil is HCC's interim vice chancellor of student services. Welcome back to the show, Rima. Always good to see you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be at your show.
And you didn't have to go that far because you're in the building. Your work upstairs, so you just had to come down to the basement. It's good to have you with us on set this morning. I was with you a couple of weeks ago, and we had a UN Ambassadors Day where we had a chance to speak to some of the former ambassadors and current ones with the UN. You're also with UNA, which is an organization. Maybe you can tell us about that and the UN Day, which is coming up as well.
Yeah, so the UN Day that is coming up, usually we celebrate it. It's an annual event.
Right.
We celebrate it every year, and it is a celebration for the founding of UN organization, United Nations. And it was founded in 1945. And this organization, United Nations, a lot of people are familiar with it. For some, it's new. It is the biggest platform worldwide that they provide for collaboration within different countries. So there are 193 countries that are members of United Nations.
Right.
And they allow a platform for them to dialogue around peace, security, any other developmental goals, but the most importantly, human rights worldwide. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful organization. And since I've been part of it, I have not seen anything like that, because the goals that they have set, so sustainability development goals, there are 17 goals that covers anything and everything from poverty to food insecurities, life above land, below land, infrastructure, clean energy. So no matter what your passion is, it provides you a platform to grow. And I have not seen the level of energy, because people, like a lot of the time, and I run into people and they are like, they're doing things on their own. And they will tell you that, oh, I do it because this is a sustainability development goal number 5 or 6. So it's just mind-blowing.
I noticed we had a number of students at the last event a few weeks ago. It was they had a chance to speak with the diplomats that were on stage, and the students seemed very engaged, not only about questions they had with poverty or sustainability or hunger, but how they could get involved. I mean, many of them are wondering, how did you become a diplomat? How do we do something like this? Are you finding that a lot of students are wanting to get involved with the UNA and what you guys do?
Yeah, so like a lot of the time, the students tend to pick the majors or careers that they have seen or they have been exposed to. So it's very, very important. I know that my role as a Vice Chancellor of Student Services, to expose the students to these field of studies. It's a career of its own, and these people work diplomacy. They work on agendas behind the scene, on policies, and all that work. So yeah, it is very, very important to engage a student not just in the classroom, but also outside the classroom.
Right.
So when we bring these kind of programming and expose the students to them, obviously it gets them to think, and we have seen a lot of interest. And Todd, you asked the important question, how they can be involved. United Nations Association, they provide free membership to students.
So they get to join for free.
For free.
And right.
Up until the age of 26. If you are a student, no matter if you are undergrad or master's or whatever program, they also have internships. They provide platforms where students can go to Leaders Summit,
right,
if they join. So it's just, yeah, it's a very good organization. We also have a model UN program, and we brought, HCC has been generous enough to partner with us, and we are very intentional actually to get the students to participate. So this model UN program, it provides us the opportunity to partner with ISDs, underserved communities, students who may not get opportunities otherwise. And through that platform or model UN or global classroom,
right,
they can be engaged in these activities and they get some real world experiences.
Yeah.
They participate in policy making,
networking as well. And
networking
can always lead to jobs. You never know.
Yes, it is. It's just beautiful. So last time, this March, we hosted a Model UN conference at HCCWHI.
I remember that.
About 170 students participated. They travel from College Station. They travel from different part of the Houston. So it was really good.
Now, next week on Friday, you guys have an event. Maybe you can tell us about that. Is it like a gala? What exactly is it?
So it is a gala, and we have, this is our only gala that we do a little bit of fundraising.
Right.
But it is a very, very popular event. Because as I mentioned, that the global involvement at the scale of the United Nations. So our Counselor Corps, they are very, very involved. So they all want to be part of it. So they all come together. City of Houston, Mayor's Office, they have been very generous. They always partner with us and participate. A lot of media, they come out to cover, and organization. So we keep the prices very, very low. So everyone has opportunity to come and meet and join us and have this a sense of community, that the work that they are doing is part of a bigger picture.
Right.
It is adding to a global impact.
Now that event is at the Junior League, and it's Friday, coming a week from today.
October 25th at Junior League at 6 p.m.
Okay. And we'll have some information in our social media post after the show. So you have some other programming besides the UN Day. You mentioned you had a model UN at the West Houston Institute. What other things do you have on tap for this semester and next?
So we have been hosting our dialogue with diplomats. We always celebrate our Human Rights Day, World Refugee Day. And yes, you are probably aware that Houston has accepted the biggest proportion of refugees in the United States. So it is very important, and people may understand this subject differently, but people who actually are refugees, the resettlement challenges are real.
Sure.
It is not easy. The language and the culture is one thing, but just navigating the system, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So making those communities feel engaged and that they are part of it and part of Houston, it just helps them feel belong.
Right.
And it helps them feel become better, productive citizen of the.
And I know HCC plays a big role in that with our ESL classes and offered to the community at large.
ESL classes, whether it is GED, micro credentials, the short certification, level 1, level 2, it really, a lot of the communities, the immigrant communities who come here, we see that they bring wealth of information, prior experiences. We even give credit for experiential learning. So if they bring credit, if they want to rebrand themselves, or if they want something, it really helped them get to the workforce quickly.
Well, once again, the UN event that's being held next week, we'll have all the information in our social media post, but it's a week from today. Dr. Rima Adil, we congratulate you on all you've been doing, and we wish you the best as you move towards next week. Thanks for being here this morning.
Well, excellent. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Invite me again.
Absolutely. Well, we're always get. She was one of the co-hosts of our shows, but she got too busy, and now she's just too busy as a vice chancellor. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Benji is going to be meeting with some to talk about drama production throughout the semester. And next, stay tuned.
When I grow up, I want to work in a lab to build robots.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
Possibilities are all around us. Together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that it's its own unique space too.
We are back on Up to the Minute, and now we have Debra Schultz, Program Coordinator for the Drama Department of the Media, Performing and Visual Arts COE. Welcome back to the show, Debra.
For having me back. It's always fun.
Of course. Before we get into the fun stuff, let's discuss what you call the tracks of drama that students can pursue.
Yeah, we're one of the best kept secrets at HCC. Students can actually come to HCC and earn an associate's in drama itself, not just with an emphasis. So we have the performance track that's designed for students who are wishing to pursue careers in acting or directing. The general track, which is put together for students who will one day become the next theater educators.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, the design and technology track, which is for those students who really want to be behind the scenes, designing, stage managing, working all of those jobs that help the spectacle of theater actually happen.
Yes, of course. And do any of these tracks transfer over to any major four-year colleges around us?
Actually, all three tracks are designed to transfer as seamlessly as possible.
Perfect.
Our design and technology students, a lot of them go to U of H. We've had a good number of performance students who have gone to University of St. Thomas. We have students right now, our cohort that we graduated in the spring is actually all over the country.
Wow.
With great transferability because we pride ourselves on giving them what they need to make it to that next step.
Of course, that's just great there. Now you have some productions coming up in November, and we'll start with It Pays to Advertise.
It's advertised. That's my baby. Directing it here at the Central Campus in Theater 1. It's funny because all three of our shows take their material from things that are 100 to 150 years old.
Wow.
Part of the reason for that is to show how things don't change. As much as we say everything does, there's not as much change as we would think. It Pays to Advertise. It was actually written in 1914, and it's about how advertising, which we could read as social media today, affects how people do and what they purchase and how they see things. There's lines in the show like, if you say something loud enough and enough times, people will believe it. So it feels really poignant to today because it's exactly what we're facing. And It Pays to Advertise runs at the Central Campus in Theater 1, November 7, 8, 9, and 11. Tickets are always free, as they are for all of our productions. We just ask that you go ahead and make a reservation so we know how many folks are showing up.
Perfect.
After that show closes, the following week, we run a really tight schedule. The following week at the Spring Branch, Black Box, is Hilarity Begins at Home. That's a collection of 3 farces, which we would call living room comedies, from the realists, so the turn of last century. So everything takes place in a living room. Everything takes place between people loving, hating, saying they love, but really, all of any kind of love triangle or love quadrangle that you can think of is probably shown in these little short plays. And again, so that's going to run at Spring Branch the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 18th. We tend to do for some of our shows the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, because Monday becomes a really popular day for students to come. And then we're going to round out our fall with Midnight Dreary, an unkindness of short stories and tales by Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh my gosh, I love Edgar Allan Poe. That's just great.
Right. And that was actually been adapted by Kathy Snyder, who is the faculty member directing that. I know I slaughtered the title a little bit. There's a lot of words in it. But it's a presentation of some of Poe's better known works, as well as some that even I thought I had read everything that was Poe. She found some things that I was like, wait, is this Edgar Allan Poe? So it's a very, while it's old, the oldest of the material, from like the 1830s and 40s, she's presenting it in a very modern style. And that show is going to run November 20, 21, 22, 23. So we pack a lot into the month of November. We keep our students really busy. And we hope that the students and other folks around HCC will stay busy and come see us.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that's just great. A full packed month of November there. I mean, and they're all free again, right?
They're all free. We just ask that you make a reservation, just that way we don't oversell a house. So it's really simple. You can follow the QR code on any of our flyers to get right to where you need to be to buy or to reserve the tickets, since we're not actually purchasing anything. And all of these shows are in very different spaces too, which is really fun to see where we go from, some of the bigger spaces down to the Spring Branch, which is really tiny, and will only seat like 40 people. So it also gives our students a different experience as we go. But it's wonderful to see shows that can be considered old, but that feel very new and fresh.
Yeah, that tends to happen a lot. And I know theater is going just a little bit more towards the black box productions a lot lately, and they're more intimate, which I like. It's more, and there's some productions that are kind of, in a sense, I don't want to say interactive, but I think they're more like they'll come out of the stage and they'll be playing around through the audience, which is, I mean, it's kind of awesome, really.
theater is about engaging with people, right?
Mhm.
It's not just one-way communication. It's not just from the stage to the audience. The audience also communicates back. And so you have to be able to embrace that.
Yeah.
And do we sometimes break the fourth wall and include the audience? Yes.
Yeah.
And, sometimes do we make the audience uncomfortable? Yes. That's one of my favorite things to do, is make the audience uncomfortable, because then I know they're thinking and engaging with whatever it is we're presenting.
Of course. And out of all the students that we've had, I mean, throughout, years and years, are there any notable faces that have gone through our theater program that maybe we could see somewhere on the mainstream media or anything?
Nobody that would be considered famous.
Uh-huh.
We have a lot of working folks that can make their living doing what they've studied. And that's really the goal.
Oh, yeah.
Most of us never get famous. It's
Very
one,
slim chances.
it's the most tiny minuscule of people who become famous.
Yeah.
But we actually have students that, while they're finishing up here, we actually had this happen with this last group that we just graduated. We had students, as they were finishing their last semester, were booking paid gigs outside of HCC.
Yeah.
When people reach out and say, do you have a student who's ready to do this? We got a bunch of students. I think we had 4 in the spring semester, from spring to summer into now, who are working out in the world in Houston and getting paid to do it.
That's just great. Well, thank you so much, Debra Schultz. She is the program coordinator for the drama department of the Media, Performing, and Visual Arts COE. We'll have all of your info on our post after the show. Thank you so much for being here.
So much, and invite me back anytime.
Of course. And then coming up next, we have a quick commercial break. Todd and I will return with some news and announcements, so stay tuned.
At HCC, your dreams are within reach.
When I grow up, I want to work at the hospital. When I grow up, I want to work in a lab to build robots. When I grow up, I want to work at a school and be a teacher.
From classroom to career, we're with you every step. Register for real-world education at hccs.edu.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, live at the HCCTV studios. We've got a few announcements before we wrap up Friday's show. Jenny Waldo, been on our show a few times. In fact, in the last couple of weeks, she is a filmmaker and also HCC filmmaking coordinator. So she works with the filmmaking program. She is offering a program that goes on every Saturday throughout this month about raising money for film. That's right. It's always a challenge to raise money for your productions. You can tackle that with Jenny's workshop every Saturday throughout October. You still have time to get a couple of those in, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the A-Leaf Hayes Screening Theater. The next one is tomorrow morning. For more information, we'll have our information in our post after the show. Recipes for Success, that's a virtual workshop, Benji.
Yes, HCC Academic Success Centers and Student Life are hosting these virtual workshops to provide study strategies and helpful academic habits. Coming up, we have Resiliency and Bouncing Back. This will take place Monday, October 21st from 1 to 2 p.m. And it's going to be a Teams meeting. So check out our post after the show for more info.
For the sake of time, we're going to skip on down to Mindful Mondays. That is happening. Enhance your well-being. HCC Central's Wellness Center is hosting 5 interactive workshops to empower and enhance attendees' Well-being for Success in College. Next one, noon to 1 p.m., Monday, October 28th. It's called Be Gentle with Yourself, A Journey to Self-Compassion. Registration is required. Check our post after the show. That one is happening at the HCC Central Campus. And Benji, I know you've taken all your training, of course. You're never late on that, right?
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm
so
on it.
HCC employees, if you've been like myself and you took the training that said it was due by like the beginning of October and the rest of it's due at the end of October, well, guess what? We're already past the middle of October. So you got to get that training in before October 31st. Make sure you do so. All the modules are due by Halloween. Don't get frightened and forget about it, okay? Yeah. Check our post after the show for a link to check your status. Spring registration starting soon. Go to hccs.edu/apply. Mental Health Monday coming up after the weekend. And of course, we'll be discussing Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well. Benji, any big plans for the weekend for you?
For this weekend? Oh, I'm going to a pumpkin patch, Dewberry Farm. Going to a pumpkin patch with my girlfriend. Be cute sitting on the hay ride. Yeah. And there's a scary maze, by the way. I've
heard a lot about that. A friend of mine, I believe it's his family that owns that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So can we get some?
No, can't get you any free. So don't even ask.
All right. Yeah, I already bought them, but just
I think he even has to pay to go. It's not
really?
Yeah, when he takes the kids there, they get a discounted price or something. But yeah, they still have to pay to go. But that should be fun. Should be a good weekend to do that. Not supposed to get that
hot.
Next week we'll be back up to 90. So hope you enjoyed fall while it was here.
Yeah.
So have a good weekend. Be safe out there. Go Texans. Big game coming up on Sunday. We'll be watching that. And have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday morning live at 10 a.m.